Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm ShyWizard. Going to continue on here in part 4 of creating this grain dryer mCompany scripted mod. So I don't need the add-on parts anymore because I've already added them in the last video. So I can go ahead and delete that. Now the next part we want to look at is setting up the actual mod desk. So I would probably say the easiest way again to do this is to take an already created mod desk and just make your edits as you need to. So I'm going to make a copy of the one from the Seed Master here, and then I'll just change the appropriate parts in here that I want to set up. So we have some extra source files and whatever else. Now obviously this is going to be a Giants editor import, as I've said before, so for the most part there's going to be this stuff up here I'm not going to actually require because that will be part of my mod desk in the map itself. But I like to build up the mod desk separately first, and then bring over all the parts as I need to afterwards into the map itself. We can ignore all the stuff up the top there and go with our extra source files. Now because I've opted to use the mCompany script, I'm not going to want to have fabric script or whatever else. So we need to find the scripts folder here and just take the actual name from the scripts themselves. So I'm going to just paste over that one, and then I'll take the mCompany factory add-on and paste over that one, and then all I need to do there is just type in scripts because I've put it in the scripts folder. So we'll do like so, copy that and paste that into there like so. The brands I'm not going to need because again that's to do with the placeable stuff, so I can go ahead and delete that. Store item I'm not going to need because that's to do with the placeable, so I can go ahead and delete that. I could probably just delete all of that stuff as well because I don't need any of that, and we'll just concentrate on the other parts. So extra source files, that's fine. Then the L10N stuff, this stuff up the top here to do with functions, I don't need that because that's basically for the placeable stuff as well, so I can delete that. And then we have all the other parts. So the Learval, Error, Rostov and Product, that's all based around Fabric and mCompany, so I'm going to keep all of that stuff. But the additional trigger stuff here, because of the way the script is going to look for stuff, this needs to be adjusted to work with the mCompany factory add-on. So what we need to do is take the name from there and overwrite all of the additional trigger information here with mCompany factory add-on, so the script knows what the correct parts is going to look for in the translations here, and then give us our appropriate information. So I'm going to override all of these like so, and then because I actually changed some of the names, if I actually open up the mod here in Giants Editor, for the silo trigger itself, we remember in a previous video I actually went in and changed the text here to start fill, stop fill, automatic fill and manual fill GD. So we need to change those as well. So in here I can just change these over and put the GD on the end of all of these. GD, and then just check what it actually tells you, because sometimes people will put start filling of seeds, or stop filling seeds or whatever else, but this is pretty generic across. You could use it for anything because it's just saying to do with info for setting automatic charging, automatic or manual charging, then start fill, stop fill, automatic fill and manual fill. So there's nothing there that's going to potentially interfere with what we're going to be using, so I can just leave those as they are, only just changing the parts here to do with the mCompany stuff. And then obviously the other parts down here we need to link in to the grain dryer. So if we wanted to, there I could take that and then just change this to grain dryer, whatever, like that. So again, going back to the mod itself, if we look through all of the products, in the names for our user attributes, I've got grain GD, so I can take that one and change this one here like so. And again, you can change all of these. I'm going to just leave that as is, that's fine. I don't need the fertilizer or the seeds, so I'm going to delete both of those. The seeds one will be for my output, which will be the dried grain DG, so I can take that name there and then put that in there like so. And then for the actual name itself, I'm just going to put dried grain. Not worried about translations for different languages at the moment, so I'll just delete that. You can do that if you want to. I'm not too fussed with that at the moment. And then obviously input trigger, output trigger, we need to change those. So we've got input trigger of that. So I'll make a copy of the name from the attributes window there and overwrite that one. And then the output trigger, we'll take a copy of that name from the attributes and overwrite that one. And the other stuff there, resources, products, I can leave all that as it is. Additional fill triggers, fill trigger name, don't need that, don't need any of those. I haven't got anything to do with fertilizer tanks or whatever, so all of those can go. So again, here I have all of the information that I want to get all of this up and running. Now I'm not going to do the mCompany graphics just yet. I'm just going to get it working first of all, and then we'll get to mCompany graphics perhaps maybe later on. So I have all of that stuff set up there. So I probably would just save this now and just call it example or something like that, whatever. And we'll save that just so we got the information we want. There's going to be some other stuff I'm going to need to add into this anyway, because I need to set all the reg fill type stuff up and the material holders and whatever else additionally to get all this working. So I'll go ahead and save that, close that down. I don't need that one anymore, so I can delete that. I just used it as an reference material to get my mod desk all set up in the way I wanted it to be. So that's fine. And then the next thing I want to do is set up the information for the reg fill types. So if I actually take the let's open this up again, and I'm going to create a new line here, and I'll just take a copy of that one. Actually, I think I'll put that at the top. I'll put it up here. Sometimes these scripts can be a bit funny in the order that they are activated, and reg fill type script is one of those. I've found several times if I bury it somewhere down in amongst several different scripts, because it's not registering the fill types first before it registers other parts, it doesn't work. So it's important in the way that the scripts are actually laid out in the extra source files here. So I'm actually going to put the reg fill types one at the top here. So I'll just take the name from there and then put that into there like so. So in my case here, it's going to register the fill types first, then run the mCompany script setup. And I think that will probably be a better way of doing it. So what I want to do then is, if I open up the actual script, it gives us all the examples in here that we're going to work with. So I can just basically take all of this information, make a copy of that, and then bring it into this setup. So I'll put that down the bottom here somewhere, like so. And then obviously our HUDs and whatever else I'm going to need to put together later on. So in here I'm going to change this to the fill type that we use. So again, making sure that all of the text is spelt correctly, whether it be uppercase, lowercase, and whatever else. That's very important. So I'm going to take the copy of the fill type I've set up here directly from the mod itself and apply that to the fill type for the reg fill types information here. All of this stuff here you can change whatever you want in there. I'll leave that as it is for now. Actually, I will change that one to false because I don't want to have that set up. Oops. Add to an animal food group. No, we don't want that. False. That's fine. I'll leave all the rest of it as it is for now. And then obviously I need to set up the HUDs and the fill planes and whatever else. This will come back to the material holder that I'm going to create shortly. So I'll go ahead and save that. I will actually take, what have I got in here? Dry grain. Yes, so I need to make another entry into here. So if I take that one and put that into there, take my fill type and put that into there, and then just basically dried grain, like so. Again, with the translation, I don't really mind. That can come later on. Like I say, getting it working is the most important part, and then all the translation stuff comes later on for different languages, if you so choose to add them in. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that. That should be fine. It gives you a lot of information here, what in the actual example in the reg field types Lua script, what categories can be set up and various other different things, and very important, the actual save formats for the fill planes themselves and the distance, textures and whatever else, what they need to be set up as. So that's quite important to go through all of that and just check those out and make sure you set them up correctly and whatever else, otherwise they won't work properly. So we'll come back to that shortly. So what I'm going to do then is, if I save this, I'll just close it down because I didn't make any changes. So what I want to do now then is make, I can get rid of that, make the actual fill plane for the dried grain. So again, I'm going to make another folder here, and I'll just call this fill planes. That'll do, something like that. And then I want to create a new material holder inside of here. So what I'm going to do is go back into wrong one. Let's go back into the the Farming Simulator installation folder, and I'm going to go to fill planes. If I open up this material holder, I'm going to just basically take the wheat as the fill plane that I'm going to use. So, but I might make some changes to the actual texture itself, we'll see. So what I want to do is export this out. So we'll change that, I think, anyway, because I don't want to call it wheat, but we'll change all of that later on. So I'll just take that for now, and then I'm going to export this out. So I'm going to go export selection with files, desktop, new folder, and I'll just paste it into there for now, like I say, and then we'll save that, keep parent directory structure no, and I'll close that down for now. So in here then, what have we got? Yeah, I don't want any of that. Shaders, yeah, I want those. So let's go into here, fill planes folder, and I want to copy all of that over. So we'll copy all of those and the shaders. I'll just do that, that's fine. Don't need that anymore. Like I say, I always like to put it in a separate folder first, and then I can see what we've got and work with that. But all of this is going to be adapted anyway, so if I open this one up then, okay, so need to change some parts there. So dot slash. The HUD is going to be different, and if we actually go back to the mod desk here, we can see that the HUDs are going to be in, well, wherever you decide to put them. We might change that, so I'll get back to that later on, I think. For now though, I'm just going to delete that. and then it'll be HUD fill types, and then whatever I choose to set that up as. But anyway, that's fine. So we'll do like that, and then if I actually open this up, let's open this one up, and then I'm going to call this dried grain. Is that how I had it set up? Very important to get all the names to match up. So let's just take it directly from there and paste it in. There we go. So that's that one, and then we can change all of this stuff like so. Change this one, change the fill type for both of those like that, so that's fine. And this is kind of creating our new material holder for our dried grains. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm then going to call this material holder. So we'll just go material holder and save that out like so. We'll close that one down, fill planes, and then we can get rid of that like so. So we have our material holder, which is going to be linked in later on. So in the mod desk here, I can actually set this up. So I'm going to delete that, and then it will just be fill planes folder, and then the material holder itself, which is what all of that stuff is going to be linking into. So that's fine. So let's save that, close that down, and then you need to find a HUD of some description that's going to obviously give you what you want for your dried grain. So I'm going to try and find something that might be appropriate, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I found an image that potentially could work. I've just opened up the script here again for the example, because it's important that you name everything in a correct manner. So if we look down here, examples for HUDs from fill types, we've got our HUD directory fill types path name, which we can adjust accordingly in the mod desk. But then this part here, HUD fill, and then whatever we're going to call it. So for me, it's going to be HUD fill and then dried grain DDS, and then this one will be HUD fill dried grain SML DDS. But also notice down here that the tip anywhere textures, we only need a diffuse and a normal, but we do need a distance one. So I'm going to need to actually find that as well. So what I've done is I've just taken this texture here, downloaded this texture, and then I've put in here HUD folder, and I've resized them and made them black and white, because the way that it works in the game, if you use a color image, because the alpha channel is incorrect, it will then make all of the background kind of purple, and you might end up with like a purple background with an orange or green texture, because it's going to try and work out what you're trying to ask it to do, but it's not going to know what the alpha is. So making it black and white tends to work quite well. But I've cut away all the unnecessary parts and then just set it up. Hopefully that will work. And I've resized this one to 256 by 256 and saved it as a DXT5. And then this one I've resized to 128 by 128, and again saved it as a DXT5. So hopefully that will work okay. So for my path here in the mod desk, I need to adjust that slightly, because it's going to be fill planes and then HUD. So if I actually, we'll just take that and then overwrite all of that. So fill planes and then HUD, something like that. That should be fine. Fill planes and then HUD. Yeah, that should be fine. All of this might need adjusting anyway once it gets put into the map, but set it up as best I can to start with before I start bringing everything over into the mod desk for the map itself. So that's that one all sorted out, and then the next part we need to create the rest of the information in our material holder here, and this is where it's going to get a little bit time consuming, but we'll get rid of those because I don't want them anymore. So I'm going to go back into the Farming Simulator installation folder here. First of all, what I want to do is have a look and take I can use barley, I suppose, doesn't really matter. Sunflower wheat distance, let's take that one. So I'm going to copy that one and put that into here for my tip on ground textures. Hopefully that will work okay. So because my mod desk, I will be setting that up for the directory there to go to the fill planes folder, which is where that is, and that will then be not only for the material holder itself for fill planes, but also for tip on ground textures as well. So I do need the distance one in there as well. And it's always worth just checking with your script the actual names and everything, make sure it's named correctly, and all the rest of it. So that would be might need to change some of these texture names, but that's okay, we can do that. So cog distance underscore diffuse, and this will be wheat distance diffuse. So yeah, I'm going to need to change some of these, but that's okay. So let's change this one because it's going to look for the actual name of the file itself, not anything else for tip on ground, that is anyway. So I want that to be dried grain, and then what I'll do is I'll take that, and then I'm going to change all of these appropriately. Don't need the specular, but I might include that anyway, just so the material holder doesn't freak out. So we'll just do that like so, and then this one is going to be like so. And then I need to open up the i3D here and change all of these. So we can do that, that, and that. We'll save, and then open up the material holder and just make sure that it has no errors. And that's fine. Okay, excellent. So that should be okay there. Let me just double check. Okay, we'll go with that for now anyway, that's fine. I think that the HUD file has got a bit warped, but icon, material, yeah, okay. So let's 1, 2, 3. Let's add in another line here. Make that 6. And then what I want to do is HUD. Put that up on my other screen for now. So let's get rid of that. I want that to be HUD. No, I don't. I want it to be. Or do I? Yeah, I do. HUD slash dried grain dot DDS, and then this one down here that into there and rename that to 6. Let's see if that all goes wrong. Let's try that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now I should have the correct, yes, good. Got the correct texture there for my HUD. Because I saved the Giants Editor session when I was messing around with the material holder here, it automatically deleted the line for the HUD, so I've had to add that back in again here and join all the parts back up together, but that's fine. That should all work okay, good. So the next part then is to actually create the effect material holder, but it's all going to be one material holder, but it's going to need to obviously set it up, because if I'm going to put it in a trailer and everything, we've got our fill plane, but I've got no unloading animation or unloading particles or anything else, so I need to set all of that up as well, which is going to be the time consuming part. I think what I might do is actually end the video here and then do that in the next session. I'm ShyWizard, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.